let's talk about painting doll faces. Good everyone, I'm Caitlin, and on this channel we teach old-fashioned sewing skills and make reproduction clothing. So we were supposed to actually paint the doll's face today, and I know I said that I found the doll because I had lost her last year in the move, or in the 3 moves that I did. I did find her, and I have subsequently lost her again. I have the box of things that she was in, because where I found her I had all the stuff. I just piled everything in a box. And I know where that box is. It's sitting there, right in front of me, with everything else that she was piled in. There's no doll. So I don't know if I took her out because I knew I was doing this video and then placed her somewhere safe, which I have a strong tendency to do. Or if she fell somewhere and she's just in the mess of the renovation of the house. I don't know. So we can't paint a doll's face today. But instead, what we can do is research painted doll faces of the mid-19th century and figure out what we're going to do. I think that's what we're going to do this week. Instead of painting the actual doll's face. She'll pop up somewhere. Probably the day after this video airs, and where I can't delete the video I did instead to refilm what was supposed to happen. And after I've already done all the work of readjusting my whole schedule. So that should be fun. But yeah, I think we're going to do some research, look at some original dolls. Alright, so let's get started. Alright, so we're getting started with this one. This one just popped up when I Google searched 1840 cloth doll. And just right off the bat, noticing some very normal things about cloth dolls after, compiling a bunch of images, is that her hair is also painted, which I didn't really consider, but a lot of the ones, in fact almost all of the dolls I looked at, had painted hair. So that'll be interesting to get the technique down right, because a lot of them look like they have curls in the front, and I'm not an artist, so this should be a lot of fun. But very typical. Some of them have little noses, some of them have dot for noses. This one I can't even really see a nose. This is the only picture I could find of her, so I really don't have any close-ups. But eyes, eyebrows, little pink lips or red lips, and blush cheeks. Seems to be fairly normal. Alright, this one is, I just have the image. It just popped up on Pinterest, so I have no provenance on this one. But it looks like her face is done just in ink. So there's 2 types of painted, 3 types of painted dolls. Some of them are just ink or pencil, which is what this doll is. Some are oil painted, and then some is some sort of other colored paint, but it's not oil. But it seems to be deeper in color than watercolor, so I'm not sure what kind of paints they were using. By the look of the paint, I can probably get that type fairly closely replicated with acrylic paints, which is what I'm going to do. But the simplest form of painted doll faces is just with ink or pencil, which means no color. And this is what this doll's face is done. This one is from the Manchester's Art Gallery, and there was no close-ups of her face, so I kind of just made the image to where you see her face a little bit better, but it's kind of blurry, so sorry about that. And her face is much more professionally done. It looks like it wasn't done at home, or at least it was done at home by an artist of some kind. But you can see she has a nose, eyes, hair, tiny little eyebrows, and a red mouth. And it looks like some remnants of some blush. Okay, now this one is from Country and Shaker Antiques. I have several of theirs. They sell a lot of dolls. They're an antique store online, and so a lot of these dolls from them are actually for sale. This one was quoted as an 1880 doll, which, given by the prints, probably right. This one's very clearly painted by someone who's not necessarily an artist. This is probably what my doll's going to end up looking like. And this is one of those paints that didn't really look like oil paint to me, so I'm not entirely sure what it is. She has no hair whatsoever, which meant she was probably made to wear a bonnet of some kind. You can see the eyes are uneven, still eyebrows, There is a nose painted and little thin red lips, but I don't see any remnants of blush on her. There's another one from Country and Shaker's Antiques. It's another 1880s doll. She has a bonnet, so I don't see any hair. Tiny little dots for eyes, straight eyebrows, 2 little dots for nose, and a tiny little mouth. This is another one from Country and Shaker Antiques. This was 1870s. I'm seeing a lot of blue eyes. That's probably what I'm going to end up doing. Pink mouth. There's some remnants of some blush on her cheeks. Little nose is basically 3 little scallops with little dots in them. And then her eyebrows and her little simple eyes. Hopefully mine looks a little bit more like this and not as much like the one with the pink dress. This is another one from Country and Shaker Antiques. This one was stated as being 1860 or 1870, and her face, you can see, is almost completely gone. That's either pencil or ink. But you can see remnants of not very well drawn eyes and nose, and maybe a little bit of a mouth. There's another one from Country and Shaker Antiques, and another one that's not very well drawn out. Looks like it's also in ink or in pencil. Kind of a sloppily done, crescent shape for the smile, little nose dots, and I might see some eyes there somewhere. Country and Shaker's Antiques. This one is done in pencil, is what the listing says, and probably maybe 1880s. Also, no hair on this one, and very crudely drawn. This is the last one from Country and Shaker's Antiques. It just said pre-1900 on this one. It's another one that's either pencil or ink, and again, it's kind of crudely drawn, so with no hair. And the eyes are two different sizes. Again, hoping our doll doesn't quite look like that. Hopefully I'll have a little bit more of a skill with this. I assume that maybe the little girls who were using these dolls are the ones who drew these faces, and so the dolls themselves, or they maybe had a slightly older brother or sister help them with it. Alright, this one's from Live Auctioneers. And this one has very well painted, I think this is an oil painted doll, very well drawn eyes, defined nose, very red cheeks, very nicely drawn mouth, eyebrows. She has a cap on, so I can't really see her hair. Now I have 3 images of this doll. This is from the CatLadyAntiques.com. She sells a lot of from the 19th century, which is awesome because I've been researching those a little bit. And then she has some dolls and other just like Americana folk art stuff for sale. I will link her website down below. This one looks like a pencil drawn face, and again, no hair, and some very crudely drawn features on her as well. You can see her whole dress and apron. I will say some of these doll features are making me feel really good about my art skills. We'll see next month if I actually live up to that. Now, the one I found interesting about this is instead of drawing her hair, they took a piece of brown cotton and stitched it onto the back, so that was her hair, basically. And you kind of see the raw edge of it sticking around her neck, which I thought was actually quite clever. It's another one from the Cat Lady Antiques. This one that is pencil or ink drawn. Looks like her mouth is in an O, like she's surprised or something. It's another one from the Cat Lady Antiques. Now this one I found very interesting. So her features are pencil or ink drawn, but my favorite thing about her is that her hair is actually real human hair, which cracks me up, and now I want to cut my hair off just slightly. It needs a trim anyway, and use my own hair for this doll. Although I think that's also kind of creepy. I think it may be slightly later than mid-century though, because I saw that at least on one other doll dated to the late 19th century, so it may not quite be my time frame, but if we do a later doll someday, I might be doing my own hair on her. Okay, this is another one from the Cat Lady Antiques. Looks like ink drawn. Very crudely done. Not even a mouth that I can see. Just 2 circles for eyes, a triangle for a nose. This is the same doll. You get a little bit more detail on her dress, which looks very mid-century. Looks really 1850s. Interesting about her is her hair. It looks like a net. I don't know if that's like real hair underneath,
But there's a little ribbon, and it's supposed to look like a hairnet, which I thought was very interesting. And this one's from Augusta Auctions. It's actually not cloth, but I needed a little bit more detail on some of those little curls that they were doing. This one looks like an oil painted, just composite doll, but I do like her facial features. Now, of course, I was looking at all white dolls because that's what my doll was. If you are looking to do an African American doll, I would suggest checking out Country and Shaker Antiques because they had a lot of African American dolls as well for sale. So even if you're just looking on how to paint or embroider a doll that is black, that would probably be a really good resource for you to see how they were painting those faces. So I included this one in. This one's an 1880s doll from Country and Shaker Antiques, and they had tons and tons of other ones. They had like 23 pages of just dolls for sale. And there were tons of options. Most of theirs were 1870 all the way up to 1920s. Very few of them were earlier, but if you're doing anything in that time frame and you need dolls of different ethnicities, I would highly suggest checking them out and kind of seeing what their dolls looked like and getting some ideas from that. Well, let's end here with a little clip of the doll we made last year, because this is the thing that we're going to put a face on. Hopefully I'll have the skills to paint this thing. I wanted to do painting instead of embroidery just because we embroidered the last one, so I feel like I want to do something different, but I am much a better seamstress than I am a painter, so this should be very interesting. But I will keep searching through this stuff. I know it's around here somewhere because I know I saw it less than 2 weeks ago. I just don't know where I put it because I guarantee you I put it in a very safe place, and goodness knows where that safe place is right now. But I think as we get through and put things away in the house, we'll come across it hopefully by next month so that we actually have a doll video. But yeah, we'll paint her face next time. We'll get all the paints out and probably do a practice run before I get to the actual doll because I'm probably going to need that. But looking at these originals has really helped out because I can't do worse than some of these. I mean, I probably could, but I don't think I will. I think my doll will look okay. So it gave me a little bit of hope for my art skills and how they will fare with other homemade dolls of the time period. Well, anyway, thank you so much for joining me today as we researched some 19th century cloth dolls. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Click the little bell notification so you're notified anytime I upload a new video. And as always, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you back here in the next one.